afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome on inside the Bowman Center on the campus of Albright College in Reading, Pennsylvania, as we are live here on the Albright Sports Network for a MAC Commonwealth basketball doubleheader. I'm Tyler Trumbauer, bringing you all the action here in what is a dreary Saturday afternoon in Berks County, but it is nice and cozy here inside, so settle on in for a pair of good basketball games this afternoon as the Albright Lions welcome Stevenson to Reading, Pennsylvania for this afternoon's contest. First, the women's game with our men's game coming up at approximately 3 p.m. The Lions 12-0 overall this season, 3-0 in conference play. The 18th ranked team in the country welcomes Stevenson, who are 3-7 overall, 0-3 in conference play. Let's meet the starting lineups for both teams. First, for the visiting Mustangs of Stevenson, number 1, a 5'3" freshman guard from Randallstown, Maryland, Morgan Pennick. Number 2, a 5'5" junior guard from Severn, Maryland, Brandy Hall. Number 13, a 5'7" senior guard from Greencastle, Pennsylvania, Hannah Christ. Number 20, a 5'6" sophomore guard / forward from Glenelg, Maryland, Kelly Johnson. And rounding out the starting five, number 31, a 6'2" junior forward from Williamsport, Maryland, Olivia Coleman. Head coach of the Mustangs is Jackie Boswell in her 9th season leading the program. And now for the Lions of Albright College. Number 12, a 6-foot-tall sophomore forward from Northfield, New Jersey, Gabby Boggs. Number 20, a 5'7" sophomore guard from Bowie, Maryland, Amina Rauf. Number 21, a 5'6" senior guard from Reisterstown, Maryland, Haley Dayton. Number 31, a 5'10" sophomore forward from North Wales, Pennsylvania, Brady Wassel. And number 32, a 6'1" sophomore forward from Reading, Pennsylvania, Deja Terrell. Head coach of Albright is Janice Luck in her 18th season leading the team. Luck just coming off earning an honor of her own. She was named the D3 News Coach of the Month for the month of December. So getting an honor for her. Also, Terrell earned D3Hoops.com Player of the Week honors for the second time this season after the team wrapped up the 2019 calendar year with a win over Kings College back on the 19th, had a bit of a holiday break, and now the Lions are ready to usher in 2020, and with it, they hope to bring their winning ways from the previous calendar year. Today's officials: Dan DePasquale, Scott Dutter, and Helen Henderson Ford. Keep in mind for Stevenson today, Brandy Hall, number 2, one of the starting players today, averaging 10.5 points per game. She's the leading scorer on the team, the only Mustang averaging double figures per contest this season. Gabby Boggs averaging 13.5 points per game. Deja Terrell a little over 20. She's the leader, and she's in the center to start this one, and she wins the tip. And we're underway here inside the Bowman Center. Albright, the 18th ranked team in the country, 12-0 overall, leading the MAC Commonwealth standings, is on offense to start. Getting it to Terrell in the low block. She gets double teamed. Fadeaway jumper, short, no good. Rebound there by Stevenson as the Mustangs settle it down in the half-court set as well. Terrell tips it away, and it goes out of play off of her. Good hustle by the Berks Catholic product, but it'll stay here with the visitors. And now here's Stevenson setting up in the half-court. Terrell here on defense, out on the wing. Working it over Pennick now over to Coleman. Now back up top. This is Christ, and she'll spot up for a 3. Too strong, no good. And Terrell gets that one, maybe blocked, maybe a little short on the layup, maybe a little bit of both. Either way, no good there. Now here a transition. They thought about a 3, did Kelly Johnson. Instead, Coleman has it, drives, left-handed layup, no good. That was Chris, by the way. Now offensive rebound up, and that one's good. That's Coleman, the junior from Mercersburg Academy. Gets it to go for 2 on our first basket of the afternoon. 2-0 here, nearly 2 minutes into this afternoon's contest. Dayton dumps it off to Rauf. Now she drives and travels, and a turnover. 90 seconds in, still 2-0. These two teams were slotted pretty close to each other in the MAC women's preseason poll, Stevenson was picked 5th, Albright 6th. Of course, that was the preseason. Now, as the season continues, we see how that's changed. There's a turnover for the Lions, now a transition. Thought about a jumper, did Dayton, thought better of it. Now they'll settle it down here and set something up. Looking for their first points of the afternoon are the Lions. Terrell, low block, up and under, double team, gets blocked from behind, and no good there. Pass up ahead, a bit too far, but Brandy All chases it down. And she gives now to Chris underneath. Chris goes up and gets fouled on that right side, and that's our first whistle on either team here this afternoon. That's going to be on Rav, her first, the team's first here in the opening quarter. And that will send Chris to the line to shoot 2. As a team, Stevenson shooting 58% from the free throw line so far this season. Chris makes the first. She's shooting 64% coming into today and goes perfect 2 for 2 there. And now we see a full court press from the Mustangs as they're up 4-0. Skip pass up ahead, pump fake and gets blocked. Does Wassel, but she gets it back and hangs on to it. But good recovery and a turnover. Back-to-back turnovers for a hot second, but it comes right back to the Lions. And now they try to settle it down here and try to find a solution on offense. Terrell says, I got it, and Deja Terrell tickles the twine for 3, and that certainly helps the early offensive struggle for Albright. And just like that, they're only down 1 here, 7:20 to go. And a little full court pressure of their own implemented here. Transition 3, that one no good. So Albright, after going scoreless for the first 2 minutes and change now with a basket here, can take the first lead of the afternoon. Low block, kick it here, Rav corner 3, good. Albright with 6 points, all coming from downtown, and the Lions have their first lead of the afternoon. Dayton and Rav doing well there on that front end of that full court pressure, but the Mustangs are able to break it. Now here's Pennick, dumps it over to Hall. Hall surveying and back up top. Shot clock to single digits now. Down to 7. Thought about a top of the key 3 to Johnson, couldn't do it. Now here's a 3 from the near side. That one short, no good, off the fingertips of Christ. Here's Terrell, maybe looking to go coast to coast. No, she'll hand it off to Rauf, who misses the 3. And the Mustangs look to reclaim the lead here as we dip under 6 minutes to go here in the opening period. Chris pump fake drives and a turnover. Tried to get it to the low block to Coleman, but couldn't do it. Loose ball, finally picked up by Dayton. And Albright's back in business on the offensive end. Wassel drives, pump fakes up in traffic and gets the roll. Brady Wassel, the sophomore from Lansdale Catholic, gets that one to go in for 2. And the Lions are now doubling up the Mustangs, 8-4. Here's Pennick, drive up and a foul called on Wassel. So after scoring the basket, she's in the thick of things on the defensive end and gets called for the foul. That's her first and the second on Albright. And here is Pennick at the line shooting 2. She's coming into today shooting 69% from the free throw line. Looking to go a perfect 2 for 2 on this trip. And misses the second. So 8-5, a 1-possession game. That ball loose and a turnover as Pennick's able to chase it down right in front of Albright's bench. And now Stevenson can tie with a 3 here as we get close to the midway point of quarter number 1. Kick it over to the wing. Pennick thought about a 3. Shot clock at 10. Instead, inserts into the low block. Terrell on defense, goes up and blocks Coleman there. And that gets the faithful happy, but then a quick turnover. Rauf gives it right back to Hall. And now here a drive, mid-range jumper. That one too strong, no good. And after all of that, Albright now finally looking to just clear it out of their own half of the floor. And they do as they get it over to Terrell here with 4:40 to go. Now here's a deep three by Wassel, misses everything. They save it though. Good hustle play by Dayton for a second. They couldn't corral it and it'll go out of play, and that'll bring our first substitutions of the afternoon. For Stevenson coming into the game, number 11, Savannah Herndon, the senior guard from Edgewater, Maryland. She comes in for Pennick. And for the Lions of Albright College, we'll see two new players check in. Number 10, Abby Gaffney, and number 13, Maggie O'Hare. Gaffney, the sophomore guard from Reading, and O'Hare, number 13, the sophomore guard from Westchester, Pennsylvania. They come in for Rauf and Wassel. Another sub here as that one goes out of play. And going to the bench now is Hannah Christ. In for her is number 25, Brian DeLuzio. Shot clock at 7. Here's a three for Stevenson, and it's good. Shot clock winding down, no problem for DeLuzio. Steps right into the game and right into the action. The freshman from Hunt Valley, Maryland, gets that one to go for 3, and we're tied at 8. Jumper rattles home. And there's the answer from Albright Haley. Dayton step back jumper as the Lions take the lead right back. 3:42 to go, and we got a back and forth ball game here early on. This one in the lane, no good, gets her own rebound, second chance and a foul. Olivia Coleman draws the foul on Deja Terrell. That's the first on Terrell, the third on the Lions here in the first quarter, and Coleman will go to the line to shoot 2. Coleman shooting 51% from the free throw line coming into today's contest, and she misses the first. 3:35 to go here in the opening quarter. Between the two teams bookending the standings right now, Albright at the top, Stevenson at the bottom of the MAC Commonwealth standings, as the Mustangs look for their first conference win of the 2019-20 campaign. Terrell with it at the top of the key. Nearly lost it, then she'll spot up for a 3. That one no good, a rebound chased down by the Mustangs. Stevenson can go ahead with a field goal here, nearly loses it out of bounds. Double team, triple team, and it's stolen away. Good defense by the Lions. Now they try to work quickly, turn some defense into offense. Dayton thought about going one-on-one with Hall and said we'll pull it back out. Now they'll set up a play in the half-court sets. And that's not going to go anywhere. It's tipped away, and then a foul called there in transition. And that might be on Terrell, and it is, as she's going to pick up 2 fouls in about a 30-second span, and she'll go to the bench with those 2 personals. Rauf checks back into the ball game in place of Terrell. Terrell with 3 points in the early going. Those 3 points were the first 3 for the Lions in the game. And now she heads to the bench with 2 fouls. Baseline drive up under, no good. A rebound corralled by Johnson. Now here's a 3 for Stevenson. That one no good, a bit wide. And Albright has it up by 1 with 2:30 to go. Now here's a deep 3. Maggie O'Hare, no good. Rebound, won by Albright. Boggs battled for it on the baseline and then got fouled by a Mustang. That foul is on Savannah Herndon. Her first, the team's first here in the opening quarter, and now a trio of Stevenson substitutions come into the ball game. We'll see Christ come back into the ball game, checking in for the first time. Number 24, is that jumper's no good for Albright. Stevenson, number 24, Layla Abdul Rahman coming in. The junior forward from Frederick, Maryland, is in the game, as is Morgan Pennick. Hall, Johnson, and Coleman to the bench for Stevenson here with exactly 2 minutes to go. 10-9 in favor of the host Lions. Insertion into the lane, right-hand layup is no good. And a foul on Stevenson. That foul is on number 24, Layla Abdul-Rahman. As we dip under 2 minutes to go, that's the second foul on Stevenson. That one nearly stolen away by the Mustangs, and then it does result in a turnover. That's the 6th turnover by the Lions here in the opening quarter, and they turn defense into offense as Christ kisses it off the glass for 2, and Stevenson's back in the lead. And now Dayton zigzags across midcourt just to beat the press, and a foul in front of Coach Boswell and that Stevenson bench as we have 88 seconds to go here in the opening quarter. Substitution for Stevenson. Coleman comes back in place of Abdul-Rahman. Albright inbounding the basketball. O'Hare with it. Dayton settling it down. Shot clock at 9 now. They got to work quickly. Boggs surveying. O'Hare, she'll spot up for a deep 3. That one, no good. Rebound taken in by Stevenson. Mustangs up and layup no good off the hands of Pennick as she sliced through the defense. Now kick it Rouse. She'll spot up, or she thought about spotting up for a 3. Pump fakes, hands it off, and a foul on the floor after she handed it off to O'Hare. Got fouled going around the near side. Substitution there will send Dayton to the bench for Albright. Wassel comes back in also for the Mustangs substitution. Hall back in. She comes in place of Herndon. That foul for Stevenson was on Coleman, her first, the team's 4th. And now a stoppage of play. I think there was a conversation with the officials. And that's a change of who the foul is assigned to. It's actually going to be to Bryn DeLuzio of Stevenson, originally credited to Coleman. So makes that change. That's what the holdup was for. Now back to the action. 49.4 remaining. Wassel, low block, now to Boggs. She goes up in a lane and gets the floater to go for 2. Gabby Boggs, the Mainland Regional High School grad, puts Albright back up by 1 here with under 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. Christ surveys, drives, final lane, and lays it in for 2. The methodical Hannah Christ found an opening and took advantage. And we're on the seesaw here in the opening period, back and forth between these two teams. And that one stolen away. Now on the other end, Stevenson goes up but misses the layup. And Paul's there on the other end, puts it back in for 2. Now a 15-12 advantage with 4 seconds left. Rouse got to hurry quickly. Shot, game clock at 1. I don't think she realizes it. I think that would have been too late after the buzzer. It doesn't go anyway. And Stevenson finishes the first quarter strong and has a 15-12 advantage after the first 10 minutes of play. It's been a back-and-forth ball game, but the Mustangs lead by 3 after 1. We'll step aside and we'll be right back after this with the second quarter right here on the Albright Sports Network. Welcome back here inside the Bowman Center. 15-12 our score in favor of the visiting Stevenson Mustangs after the first quarter of play. It was a back-and-forth affair over the first 10 minutes. Both teams held leads of 4 points at one time. That was their largest leads on either side. And now the second quarter underway here with the Mustangs with the basketball to start. That's Pennick, now gets it over to Hall, now back to her as she tries to insert to the low block to Coleman. Coleman goes up and lays it in for two. Olivia Coleman gets the scoring started for Stevenson here in the second. Albright up ahead, Wassel pump fakes and lays it in for two. So the offense is getting right into it here to start the second quarter. The Mustangs with their starting five out on the floor here to begin the second quarter. Albright with Rauf, O'Hare, Wassel, Boggs, and Rauf there on the five on the floor alongside Abby Gaffney. Shot clock at 8 now. Good defense by the Lions. Pennick drive, stop, shot, no good. Might have been tipped there by Boggs. Now here's Rauf, and she'll spot up for a three. Got it. Amina Rauf with her second tray of the day ties this game up at 17. Christ with it on the near side wing. Back up top. Here's a top of the key three by Hall. No good. Hall with just 2 points today. The team's leading scorer averages 10.5 per contest. Christ and Rauf both tied with a game-high 6 points apiece here. A little over 90 seconds into the second quarter. O'Hare, top of the key three. That one no good. Shot clock was winding down. Christ kicks, Hall, corner three. That one misses everything, too strong. Team's not afraid to hoist up the threes today. Just can they get them to fall? Albright 3 for 9 today from beyond the arc. Stevenson 1 for 6 from downtown. Elbow jumper, no good. Boggs heads up play, chases her own shot, gets her own rebound. Now goes up, kicks it. Here's a Wassel corner three. That one no good. Still tied at 17. Stevenson hasn't scored in the last 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And that ends right there as they go up and lay it in for two. Kelly Johnson stops the 5-0 scoring run by the Lions. Now the Mustangs back up top, 19-17. Nearly 3 minutes into the second quarter. Good insertion pass and the layup can't go. Good heads up give to O'Hare, but she can't get it to go for two in traffic. Hall gets it nearly stolen away by O'Hare. Now here's Christ. Drives and turnover. Tried to connect with Coleman, but lost it. Did Coleman in the lane. Wassel to Boggs. She drives, spin move, left-handed layup, and gets stuffed from behind. Had a nice spin move around Coleman, but Coleman recovered nicely with a long wingspan to tip that one away. Coleman, the tallest player on the floor today at 6'2". The Mercersburg Academy grad with the height advantage. Here's a deep three by Chris. That one no good and out of play. Substitution for the Mustangs coming into the game, number 12, Kirsten Huggins, the freshman center, standing 6 foot tall from Forest Hill, Maryland. Coleman goes to the bench. Also coming in for the Mustangs, Bryn DeLuzio. She checks in for Kelly Johnson. Rauf gets it to O'Hare and off the fingertips of her and out of play. They'll say it'll stay here, though. It was tipped by a Mustang last before it goes out of bounds. So the Lions will keep it here. Boggs drives, kicks, Rauf for three. Again, Amina Rauf is feeling it from downtown tonight. That's 3 for her. And that puts Albright back up by 1. Here's a little jumper. That one's good, just inside the arc. by Morgan Pennick for 2. And now Stevenson leapfrogs the Lions, and they're now up 21-20 as we get close to the midway point of the second quarter. Just 5:37 to go until the half. O'Hare drives and gets fouled en route to the hoop. Maggie O'Hare will go to the line to shoot 2. The foul is on Hall, her first, and the first on either team here in the second quarter. O'Hare coming into today shooting 71% from the free throw line. This is the first free throw attempt for Albright today, and it's no good. The Lions as a team coming into today shooting 70% from the foul line. And that one rattles around the rim, off the backboard, and in. So we're locked at 21. Good full court pressure. Rav tips it away out of play. And just 2 seconds left on the shot clock. 22 seconds, but 2 seconds left in regards to Stevenson having to get it across midcourt to avoid a 10-second violation and a foul. As they try to insert it and pass the ball across the timeline. Gaffney gets called for a foul, so that bails out the Mustangs, who now advance it across midcourt. That's the first foul on Gaffney and the first on the Lions here in the second quarter. Here's Christ calling out a play in the midcourt, running point now. O'Hare on defensive her, man-to-man. Now here's a 3, that one no good. Offensive rebound hauled in, then blocked and tipped out of bounds by O'Hare. Good job, the double team there, DeLuzio, who hauled in the rebound but couldn't go back up with it. Substitution for the Mustangs. To the bench goes Hall. Coming in for her is number 11, Savannah Herndon. Baseline drive, up and good. Good drive by Pennick. Initial stutter step got O'Hare to go up in the air, and then got the baseline lay-in to go for 2. And they work it around. And back to the near side. Rauf, deep 3 attempt, and it's good. Amina Rauf is testing that range today, and so far it looks like she can almost make it from anywhere on the floor today. Now the 4 for 5 from beyond the arc is the sophomore, and she is leading all scorers with 12 points. Now, after the miss, O'Hare on the other end, count it! It would have counted if it fell, but instead O'Hare will go to the line to shoot 2 after that lay-in falls short. That foul is on Morgan Pennick, her first. Coleman checks back in and will send Huggins to the bench for Stevenson. Albright up 24-23, 4:19 to go. And here's O'Hare's first free throw attempt. No good. The second is good. Now a 2-point lead for the Lions. Christ, back up top now. Driving is DeLuzio, and up and no good. Skip pass up ahead, good give to Wassel, can't get the attempt to go. And now here's fast break defense to offense. Chris slices through, right hand layup, doesn't go, falls off the rim, and a foul called on Bryn DeLuzio as she was trying to fight for that loose ball with Gabby Boggs. Substitution. DeLuzio will go to the bench with those 2 fouls. Coming back into the game is Kelly Johnson. .345 to go, still 25-23 in favor of the host Lions. Boggs drives, splits 2 defenders, count it, and a foul for number 12, Gabby
Boggs, the Northfield, New Jersey native, drove in the lane with force, goes up and lays it in for 2. And now she'll go to the line for 1 more. And she gets to go to complete the 3-point play as Albright's on a 7-0 run in the last 90 seconds now. They now have their largest lead of the day, 28-23. Johnson trying to get it to Coleman. She does, who's double teamed. Tough angle, doesn't go for her. O'Hare with the rebound. Boggs kicks it back out. O'Hare, top of the key, 3. That one no good. Long rebound chased down by Roth, but she loses it and then was in a tangle for the loose ball, but Stevenson wins that battle as we dip under 3 minutes to go. Left-handed layup doesn't go. And you notice playing all of this second quarter without Deja Terrell. She's on the bench with 2 fouls, but no problem right now for the Lions as they got their largest lead. And Boggs blocks the attempt, but they call a foul. And the Bowman Center crowd doesn't like it. That's going to be the first foul on Boggs, the second on the Lions here in the second quarter. Dayton comes back in. She comes in for Gaffney on Albright's side, and for Stevenson, Pennick goes to the bench. Hall comes in for her. First free throw attempt by Herndon's no good. Second attempt for Herndon is also no good, but tracks down her own miss, and fresh life here for the Mustangs on this trip down the floor. Johnson back up top to Hall. Hall looks back to Christ, who flashes open in front of the bench. Now they get it to Johnson inside, double team, ran out of room, out of bounds, and it'll stay here with the Mustangs underneath their own rim. Substitution for Stevenson before that. Herndon to the bench, back in. DeLuzio back in. Shot clock at 5 here for the Mustangs. They'll have to work quickly. Kicks it, Christ, corner 3, got it. And that's quick enough as Hannah Christ gets the tray to go. Christ now tacking on more points to her total, and that one's stolen away by Christ, and now on the other end, a left-handed layup is good. So a quick 5-0 run by Christ all by herself gets this to be a tie ball game as Stevenson has climbed back in to lock it at 28 as we dip under 2 minutes to go until the half. Boggs up and under, that's no good. Now here come the Mustangs with a chance to take the lead for the first time here since a few minutes to go, midway through the second quarter. As Christ has 11 points to lead the Mustangs, that can go even more here, and she does. And Hannah Christ has heated up here in the last 2 minutes. 2 trays and a steal turned into a layup for the senior, and she now has 14 points today, more than her average of 9.7 per night. Here's O'Hare, layup is good for Albright to stop the 2-minute and 6-second scoreless drought for Albright. 31-30 in favor of Stevenson, under a minute to go until the teams go to the locker room. It's been a tightly contested contest today. Good insertion to the low block, but the layup doesn't go. Here's Dayton on the near side. Now she kicks it over Rauf, thought about a 3, drive, splits 2 defenders, goes up, that's no good. And Stevenson has it now. Hall, back out, Johnson for 3, got it. Kelly Johnson tickles the twine from beyond the arc, and Stevenson couldn't make much from beyond the arc, but as of late, they've started to heat up from downtown. They're 4 for 12 from 3 here in the opening half now. Under 20 seconds to go. about 0.5 seconds between the shot and the game clock. Rauf for a deep three. That one goes. A friendly roll. Sits on the back end of the rim, but it falls in for Rauf. It's just her day from beyond the arc. Here's Christ, and that falls just short. Hannah Christ was locked in there in those last 4 to 5 minutes from the floor. Almost anywhere she could have made it, and that one was on line, but just a bit short by Hannah Christ. And Stevenson, with quite the finish there to the second quarter, now takes a 34 to 33 lead into the locker room, and a big reason why, number 13, Hannah Christ, the senior guard with 14 points, including 2 for 5 from beyond the arc, 2 turnovers as well. She turned one of them into a wide open layup for her on the other end. And Stevenson, who trailed for most of that second quarter, leads by 1 after 20 minutes of play. We'll step aside, take a little halftime break. We'll come back with some more first half stats and, of course, the second half action right here on the Albright Sports Network. back here on the Albright Sports Network. At the half, it is Stevenson leading Albright 34-33. The upset-minded Mustangs up by 1 on the 18th ranked team in the country. The Albright College Lions here through 20 minutes of play. Stevenson finishing strong in that second quarter. Big reason, Hannah Christ, number 13, the senior guard from Greencastle, Pennsylvania. 14 points to lead the Mustangs here, and otherwise the Lions have done a good job bottling up Stevenson's leading scorer on average coming into today, Brandy Hall, averaging 10.5 points per game, just 2 today for her, but it's been Christ who's come on strong there in that second quarter. As a team, Stevenson shooting 35% from the floor, 33.3% from beyond the arc. Albright, not too bad. Gabby Boggs, 10 rebounds. Amina Rauf having a day from beyond the arc. 5 of 6 from 3, including a game-high 15 points totaling up for her, all of which coming from beyond the arc. 4 points for Maggie O'Hare as well as Brady Wassel here for Albright to boot this afternoon so far. Stevenson 10 second chance points though today, turning a lot of offensive rebounds into points. Another big reason why they have hung tough and now lead by 1. Albright extended their lead to 5 there in that second quarter, but saw that evaporate late in that final stages of that second quarter, and now trail by 1 going when they headed into the locker room. Both teams held leads of 5 at one point. Both happened in the second quarter as well. The Mustangs led by 5 early in the first minute of the second quarter, and Albright's coming in the final 3 minutes of the second quarter. So we'll see. Albright, a little bit slower start for them, but you got to keep in mind as well, they're only down 1 and they played the entire second quarter without Deja Terrell. Something to keep in mind as well. She was saddled with 2 personal fouls in the first quarter, exited the game then, and has been on the bench since. So we'll see if she starts this second half or if Coach Luck will keep her on the bench for an extended period here in the third quarter and see how long she does keep her there. And I mean, right now you're only down 1 without your leading scorer. Not too bad. And of course, we know how much Terrell can change a game and make her presence felt when she gets onto the floor. So we'll see what Coach Luck's strategy is here in this second half, managing those fouls for Terrell here in the second half. She's the only Lion with 2 personal fouls. Deluzio and Abdul Rahman have 2 fouls as well for Stevenson. No players really need to worry about fouls otherwise, other than that trio. The last time these 2 teams met was in the last regular season game for both schools a year ago, and Stevenson beat Albright in that game 67-47. So we'll see if Stevenson can keep their winning ways going against Albright. Right now up by 1, and it would be a huge upset for the Mustangs if they could do it. Albright, like I said though, without Deja Terrell for that second quarter, you cannot understate the absence of her and what that does to this team, and they've hung tough without her. We'll see what can happen here over the final 20 minutes of play. We thank you all for tuning in once again here on the Albright Sports Network, part of our doubleheader of action here between Albright and Stevenson. Right now, the women's game. Don't forget our men's contest between these 2 schools set to take place at approximately 3 p.m. live right here on the Albright Sports Network. So we're set and ready to go here for the second half. Third quarter underway. Albright with the basketball to start here on offense. And there she is, number 32, Deja Terrell, on the floor to start the third quarter for the Lions and goes right to work. Deja Terrell slices through the defense and lays it in for 2. She had the first basket of the day for Albright and nothing since. Spent most of the time on the bench and gets the first basket of the second half as well for the Lions here, and gives Albright a 1-point advantage coming out of the locker room now. Here's Stevenson's first offensive possession of the second half. Shot clock at 7. Good defense here by the Lions. Here's a 3 for Johnson. No good. Rebound by Stevenson, and the second chance is good. I mentioned that stat at the halftime. 10 second chance points for Stevenson to 0 for Albright in those first 20 minutes of play. A key factor there for Stevenson. Then a block on the other end by Coleman. And now here's Christ slicing and can't get the layup to go after a good drive to the rim. Couldn't finish when she got there. Dayton with it at the top of the key. It's Rauf, Wassel, Terrell, and there's Wassel who got her pocket picked. Gabby Boggs also on the floor for Albright, and a left-handed layup, rims in and out, no good for Johnson. Albright gets it right back. Terrell brings it up the floor. She looks to go one-on-one. Here's a jumper at the free throw line. Good. Deja Terrell, nothing but net as she's got 5 points here for the Lions to start the, 4 points to start the day for the second half for the Lions. All 4 points for Albright in the second half. And that one's good. Quick pass up ahead and lay in for 2 for Stevenson's Olivia Coleman. Rav clears out, gets Terrell to come to the near side. Now back up top. Rav was 5 for 6 from beyond the arc. She's going to go right back to it. That one misses. See if she can find that downtown magic she had it over the first 20 minutes of play. 38-37, Albright trails by 1. 2.5 minutes into the second half. Coleman here, Boggs on defense of her in a low block. Fadeaway left hand, no good there by Coleman. Here comes Terrell. A basket here could put the Lions back up by 1. She drives, kicks, Rauf, corner 3. Got it in front of the Lions bench. Amina Rauf for 3. And to answer my question from earlier, yes, she's going to continue that downtown magic from the first half of play. Here's a right-handed layup and a response from Brandy Hall, and timeout called by Stevenson. A 30-second timeout after that quick layup by Hall ties the game up at 40 with 6:57 to go here in the third quarter of play. It's been a back-end force start to the third quarter, carrying over that seesaw effect that we were on in the second quarter. And it's good to see Deja Terrell back out on the floor, and you can see that immediate lift she provides for the offense as she continues to make her impact felt. Now will she be able to avoid further foul trouble? That's going to be the question. Right now, so far, so good, a couple minutes into the third quarter. But she does have those 2 personal fouls. Here we go, out of the timeout, Albright basketball. Rauf gets it. Now looks to split 2 defenders, nearly loses it, gets to the Boggs, who does lose it in the lane, and a turnover by Albright. They had 10 in that first half to just 5 for Stevenson. Here's Christ calling out the play on the floor. Gets a screen. Terrell on defense of her. Now low block up and no good. Coleman couldn't get it to go, but it goes out of bounds off of Terrell, as it seemed like her and Dayton were fighting for the loose ball, even though they're on the same team. Maybe a little miscommunication, and it gives the ball right back to Stevenson. Now they work it to the near side. Hall, step back, baseline jumper blocked by Terrell. And now going the other way. Mentioned Terrell's immediate offensive impact, but there's a display of what she brings to this team on the defensive end as well. Dayton thought about driving baseline. Instead, pulls it back out. Now gives it to Terrell. Terrell will take the 3. That one, no good. Rebound brought in by Coleman. Now here is Pennick, drives, trying to go coast to coast, and she will. And she'll lay it in for 2. And Stevenson goes up by 2. 42-40 as we near the halfway point of the third quarter. Terrell, top of the key. Step back toe on the line for two. That misses as well. And Christ gets the rebound for the Mustangs. Up ahead to Pennick, who had a wide open layup, but instead dumps it off, and it's missed there by Johnson. Terrell bobbing and weaving, and then gets stuffed by Coleman at the rim, but she gets it back on the floor, rolls it to Rauf, who misses the corner three, and an over the back called on Wassel. The Mustangs just coming out playing with intensity, up-tempo, a lot of energy here in this game today. That's the second foul on Wassel. She'll go to the bench with those two personals. Maggie O'Hare checks back into the game. Her first run off the bench here in the second half. O'Hare with 4 points in 15 minutes in the first half of play. And a turnover right into the hands of Boggs. Albright scoreless in the last 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Rauf tries to stop that with a three, no good. Rebound, Boggs, back to Rauf. This one a little closer to the rim, still doesn't go. Rebound, out of bounds. Rauf chases it into the stands, but can't save it. Substitution for the Mustangs. Into the game, number 11, Savannah Herndon. And to the bench goes number 2, Brandy Hall. Pennick with the ball. Johnson top of the key. She can shoot a three. Instead hands it off to Chris. She'll drive. Left-handed scoop, no good. And Boggs gets the rebound. Boggs averaging 11 rebounds per game, already has 13 today. And there she is setting a screen for Rauf, who goes off it and makes the jumper for two to tie the game up at 42. 3:40 to go here in the third. Insertion, low block, Coleman up, no good. Now here's Terrell. Will she try to take it herself? No, kicks it to Boggs, who gets it over O'Hare. Pump fake, drive, kick, Rauf, corner three, hand in her face, too strong. Hare's right there though, and gets fouled as she tried to put back, and she'll walk to the free throw line to shoot two. O'Hare 2 for 4 from the free throw line today. Substitution here for the Mustangs before the free throws. Coleman will go to the bench, coming in for her. And coming in for her is Layla Abdul Rahman, number 24. And the first one, no good for O'Hare. And the second is good. One-point advantage for the Lions. And O'Hare nearly stole it away from Herndon, but she's able to recover. Under 3 to go. Baseline, Terrell on defense. That one no good. And Boggs gets the rebound and gets fouled as she tried to clear it out and dribble away. And now we'll inbound the basketball on the near side. That foul going to be on Pennick, her second. Back into the game now for the Mustangs with a substitution, number 25, Bryn DeLuzio, and she'll send Kelly Johnson to the bench. Lions lead by 1 after they had a 3-minute scoreless drought. Now the Stevenson Mustangs are in the midst of a 2-minute and 55 scoreless stretch of their own, and Terrell gets it, turns around, puts it in for 2. Lions lead by 3, 2:33 to go. DeLuzio looking. Now Abdul Rahman gets tipped, and Herndon got it back, and then gets it up court. O'Hare, one-on-one, goes up, got the foul called, and will now go to the free throw line. I don't think any player has been fouled more today than Maggie O'Hare. O'Hare will go to the free throw line to shoot 2 more. That foul is on Morgan Pennick, her third. The third on Stevenson in the third quarter. And the first one is good by O'Hare. She was 3 for 6 from the line coming into this trip. O'Hare for her second coming up here. And it rims in and out, no good. Terrell gets the rebound, goes up, and she gets fouled. Count it, and the chance for one more for Deja Terrell. Well done to box out, get the offensive rebound, go back up, 2 second chance points, and now the opportunity for one more. Before that, a couple of subs for the Mustangs. Pennick with those 3 fouls will go to the bench, as does Bryn DeLuzio. That foul that was on Terrell was called on Hannah Christ, her second, 4th on the Mustangs here in the quarter. And she makes it. Brandy Hall and Kelly Johnson back in for the Mustangs, who now find themselves down 7 points, the largest lead of the day for the Lions, as they're on a 9-0 run in the last 3 minutes and 33 seconds. As we dip under 2 to go here in the third, left-handed layup no good, and a foul called here underneath the rim. And Herndon will go to the line to shoot 2. To try to chip away at their largest deficit of the day. That foul's on Gabby Boggs. And that's going to be the second on the sophomore, the second on the Lions in the third quarter. Herndon, this is her second trip to the line. 0 for 2 from her first trip here, and she misses the first. Second, no good either, but the rebound goes back to Stevenson. New life here for the Mustangs on this trip down the floor. Johnson drives, Terrell on defensive her, works around, up and under, but gets blocked by Terrell. Another block, that's 2 here in this quarter by the sophomore. And that one tipped away, and a shot clock violation called on the Mustangs. Good defensive stand there by the Lions. Force the visitors into a turnover. Just their 7th of the game, though. They've played fairly clean. Under 90 seconds to go here in the period. Boggs trying to get it to O'Hare, a bit too high. O'Hare jumped, but it goes off her fingertips and out of play. Substitution for Stevenson. DeLuzio back into the game. She checks in for Herndon. Still a 7-point lead for the Lions. 1:18 remaining here in the third. Johnson gets it over to Hall. Hall relatively quiet, just 6 points. And an offensive foul called on Layla Abdul-Rahman as she extended the elbow there underneath, trying to create some space, and gets called for the offensive foul, the 3rd personal on her today, and the 5th on the Mustangs here in the third quarter. Under a minute to go. Albright enjoying their largest lead of the day, can extend it here with points on this trip down the floor. Boggs has it all the way back near midcourt, and now another foul called on Abdul-Rahman. And she'll go to the bench with those 4 personal fouls. Olivia Coleman comes in for her. Exactly 45 seconds to go. Albright in the bonus. So here is Boggs shooting 2. 1 for 1 at the line before this trip today. And the second no good, a rebound Stevenson. So an 8-point advantage here for the Lions now. Johnson gets the Coleman on a low block. They double team her, and she travels Coleman shuffles her feet on the low block, and another Stevenson turnover. And that is one thing that has helped the Albright Lions in the 10-0 run they are in the last 5 minutes. Terrell in the corner. She'll spot up for a three. Might have been tipped. It's short. And now shot clock turned off. The Mustangs can hold for the final shot. And if they make it, they'll end a 5-minute plus scoreless drought. Clock now at 5. Getting a screen is Hall. Hall, top of the key, jumper no good. Terrell gets the rebound, and that'll do it as Stevenson is held scoreless for the last 5 minutes and 40 seconds of the third quarter. The Lions rip off a 10-0 scoring run in that span and now have a 50-42 lead, their largest one of the day after 3 quarters of play. We'll step aside, take a little break, and come right back here with the fourth quarter on the Albright Sports Network. To 42 hours score back inside the Bowman Center after 3 quarters of play. Amina Rauf with a game-high 20 points. Deja Terrell had just 3 points in that first half. She had the opening 3 and the opening basket for the Lions to start the game. And just like that, she's already the second leading scorer on the team. She's got 12 now for Albright. Stevenson basketball to start the fourth. Team hasn't scored in nearly 6 minutes, dating all the way back to the midway point of the third quarter. Johnson, pump fake drive, floater in the lane, short, no good, gets her own rebound, goes up, right hand, and good. Johnson follows her shot, and it pays off for 2 points on the second chance attempt, and that breaks a 6-minute scoreless stretch for the Mustangs. Terrell, low block, got it. Good give from Boggs to Terrell, who had a good backdoor cut and finish for 2. Albright back up by 8. Johnson works it over to Hall. Hall gets to Coleman in a low block, tipped away though as they try to get it to her. It'll stay with Stevenson. Inbound to the near side to Hall. Working it up top. Chris, deep top of the key. 3, short, no good. Coleman gets the rebound. Talked about her height advantage earlier in the game, but she misses the second chance. Gets her own rebound. Now kicks it to Luzio. Pump fake drive, and right-hand floater is good. Third time's a charm on that trip down the floor for the Mustangs, as they're out rebounding the Lions today, 39-35. And here, baseline jumper, good. Rauf, who's been getting most of her points from beyond the arc, that time steps inside and gets the 2 to go. 54-46, nearly 90 seconds into the final quarter. Christ. Now over to Deluzio. She'll hand off to Johnson. He'll take a deep 3 in front of the Stevenson bench, and she's got it. Johnson made a couple trays earlier in the game, has been quiet from beyond the arc since, and gets that one to go there, as what was once an 8-point lead now has dwindled to just 5 for the Lions. Jumper at the free throw line, no good, and Johnson gets the rebound. The basket here can make it just a one-possession game. Coleman backs down Boggs and draws the foul. And Coleman will go to the line to shoot two. She'll go there making 1 of 2 the first time she went to the free throw line. Wassel comes into the game. She comes in for Rauf. That's the third foul on Boggs here in the game. Misses the first. And the second is no good either. Terrell gets the rebound. Slices through 2 defenders. Terrell kicks it. O'Hare, corner 3. No good. And a foul on the floor. Terrell and Johnson tangle up and fall to the floor. The foul going to be on Kelly Johnson. That's the first on her and the second on Stevenson here in the fourth. Excuse me, the first on Stevenson here in the fourth. So it'll stay down on this end of the floor with the Lions. Boggs gets it to Wassel. She'll take the jumper, and it's good. She got that last toe behind the line. It's a 3 for Wassel and Albright. As now they've built that lead back up to 8 once again. Before that, Albright was just 1 for 7 on her last 7 three-point attempts. And that one's good for 3, so they match 3 for 3 there, as Stevenson has an answer on the other end. Brandy Hall now with 9 points. Terrell for 3, that one misses everything. Boggs gets the rebound though, and goes right back up for it, but that one doesn't go. Terrell gets Boggs' rebound, goes up for it, gets fouled, and gets the basket. And that's how you help out your teammates. Terrell misses, Boggs gets the rebound. Boggs misses, Terrell gets the rebound and finishes the job, and will now go to the line for the chance for one more. As Terrell makes that one, she doesn't play a whole quarter and is just a couple points shy of having a game-high total. That's some effective basketball. 8-point lead for Albright, and a whistle. Maybe a clock malfunction. 6:55 to go here in the fourth. And it's actually a correction on the foul. The foul is on Brandy Hall. Her second on the Mustangs here in the fourth. Mustangs with it. O'Hare on defensive Christ, 1-on-1. Now Coleman, low block up, that one no good, too strong, rebound chased down by DeLuzio. She's gonna go back up with it, and the floater's good for Bryn DeLuzio. And here's Gaffney now. And this one goes up and gets fouled. Does Maggie O'Hare. Getting a lot of reps from the free throw line today is Maggie O'Hare. Already 8 free throw attempts today for her, more than any other player. Timeout, Albright before those free throws with 6:23 to go. Albright 60, Stevenson 54. We'll be right back after this with more Albright basketball on the Albright Sports Network. back here inside the Bowman Center. Coming up next for Albright, of course, this is their first contest of 2020. They'll be on the road January 8th at Lycoming, and then they'll return home to the Bowman Center on January 15th when they face Widener. That will be an 8 p.m. tip-off against Widener right here on the Albright Sports Network. Out of the timeout, Maggie O'Hare at the free throw line, shooting 2. That foul was on Hannah Chris. It's her third, and she went to the bench during that timeout. Morgan Pennick came in for her. O'Hare made the first. She was 4 for 8 from the free throw line prior to this trip. And the second does not go, and Coleman gets the rebound. O'Hare nearly got it as she trailed her own shot. And that one out of play, but it'll stay here with the Mustangs. And we talk about Terrell and her entrance back into the game, and a big reason why this team now has a 7-point lead. But got to look at the turnovers. Just 3 for Albright here in the second half. They had 9 in the first 2 quarters of play. Coleman, jumper, good. Good insertion pass to her. No one covering Coleman. And easy to get it to her when she stands 6'2", and she makes the quick jumper to make it 61-56. Nearing the midway point of the final quarter of regulation here. A floater, no good. Rebound, O'Hare. Power dribble, goes back up, loses it. Terrell's like, hey, I got you, and goes back up for 2 as Terrell cleans it up right there, and she now has 19 points this afternoon. Hall drives, slices, scoop, and score for Brandy Hall. The Old Mill High School product was quiet in the first half. The team's leading scorer coming in now has 11 points. Boggs kicks it, baseline, jumper, Wassel, no good. Rebound, goes to Boggs. She tries to get it to O'Hare, out of bounds off of her, and it will go back to Stevenson. 2 subs here for the Mustangs. Deluzio and Hall to the bench. Christ and Herndon back into the game with 4:56 to go as we're past the midway point of the fourth quarter. Maggie O'Hare all over Chris defensively. Now back, they kick it to Johnson. Johnson gets to the Coleman on a low block. She's double teamed, and Terrell strips it away from her, and Wassel comes up with it. Gaffney up ahead. Terrell feeds her. Pump fake and good to Abby Gaffney as the Lions turn defense into offense, and they're up by 7 now. Johnson goes up. That one no good on the fadeaway from the baseline. Terrell gets tangled up with Coleman and company. And Terrell gets a jump ball there, and the possession arrow will give it to Albright. Dayton checks back in here for the Lions and sends number 31, Brady Wassel, to the bench here with 4:15 to go. Albright up by 7. Stevenson has hung tough here in the second half, even with Terrell back in the game, even with less turnovers. Stevenson, despite their record, has hung tough with the 18th ranked team in the country. Terrell, 3-pointer, no good, and that one touches the shot clock. Out of play, it'll be Stevenson basketball. Substitution for the Mustangs. Hall back in. She comes in for Herndon. Stevenson, though, time will start to become a factor for them. Just 4 minutes left, trickling down. Albright trying to hold on to that 7-point lead. They trailed by 1 at the half after an impressive first 20 minutes from the Mustangs. That 3 from Christ, no good. Hannah Christ had 14 points at the half, scoreless here in the second half. Boggs, Terrell, good. It's like trying to play connect the dots. Gaffney to Boggs to Terrell for 2, and it's now a 9-point lead for Albright, their largest advantage of the afternoon. 3:15 to go. Albright trying to take control of this ball game in the final minutes. Left-handed layup high off the glass and in for 2. Good finesse and touch by Brandy Hall, and a 30-second timeout called by head coach Jackie Boswell on that Stevenson sideline. And this might be just setting the tone for her team, saying, listen, 3:08 to go. We're down 7 after a great finish by Hall there at the rim. Now is our opportunity to make a run. Time will start to become a factor in this contest, and Albright is just trying to keep Stevenson at bay here over the final 3 minutes and hold on for the win. Albright hasn't played in a while. Hasn't played since the 19th of December. Trying to shake off the rust from the holiday break. Then Terrell gets into early foul trouble. She's played well in this second half. Hasn't picked up any more fouls to further put herself into foul trouble. Things have aligned here in the second half for Albright, and now they're just trying to get out of here with a win. It hasn't been pretty for them, but they'll take the victory and keep their undefeated record intact. We'll see what happens over the final 3 minutes. Albright basketball out of the timeout. Terrell. Maggie O'Hare calling for it on the low block. Skip pass and turnover. Trying to skip pass all the way over to Gaffney. Couldn't get it there. Hall stepped in front of it. Now insertion to Coleman. Boggs on defense of her. Up and Coleman in for 2. Olivia Coleman gets that one to go. She was 4 for 13 from the floor today. They've had no problem getting it to her on the low block. It was finishing at the rim, but she makes a big basket there. 2:22 to go. Terrell over to Dayton, works it, now Boggs, low block, kicks it back out. Wassel drives, baseline, back out, Boggs, jumper, got it with 5 on the shot clock. Gabby Boggs for 2. Here's Hall. Stevenson's going to have to start coming up with some stops on the defensive end as well, and every offensive possession counts for them too. Coleman, floater, doesn't go but a foul. That's the first one on the Lions here in the second on them here in the fourth quarter, the third personal on Maggie O'Hare. And Gaffney goes to the bench. Rauf checks back in for Albright. Substitution for Stevenson. Brenda Luzio back into the game, and Johnson goes to the bench. Here's Coleman at the line shooting 2. She's 1 for 4 from the free throw line today. And the second is good. So it's a 6-point ball game, 1 minute, 48 seconds remaining. Full court pressure here by the Mustangs. Terrell gets through it, up to Rauf. She'll step back for a 3, it'd be big, doesn't go, and hops over the backboard out of play. And with 95 seconds to go, Stevenson gets the stop they needed, and now we'll have the basketball. And a 3 would make it just a 1-possession game. Hall with it. She's got 13 points, 1 of 4 Mustangs in double figures. Here's Coleman, up and good. Olivia Coleman has come in clutch for the Mustangs over the last minute and a half. Now just 69-65 lead. Terrell step back 3, no good. Boggs gets a big offensive rebound. Can she find an outlet? She does. Maggie O'Hare for 3, and it's good. Maggie O'Hare for 3. She's had 7 points today. 5 of those 7 have come from the free throw line, but she makes a huge tray there as we dip under a minute to go. And that might have put this one too far out of reach. That 3, no good. A long rebound out of play. Albright basketball with 42.5 seconds to go. Timeout Albright to advance the basketball up to the far side of the floor. As Coach Janice Luck calls a timeout to talk things over and advance that basketball. With 42.5 seconds to go, Albright leads 72-65 over the Mustangs. And Albright gets a huge three from Maggie O'Hare. We know she has the three-point capabilities, but she was 0 for 5 previously from beyond the arc before that one. And she gets her first tray to go of the day, and it could not have come at a bigger time for the Albright Lions. Out of the timeout. Boggs, Terrell, O'Hare, Ralph, and Dayton, the 5 on the floor for Albright. Hall, DeLuzio, Christ, Johnson, and Coleman, the 5 on the floor for the Mustangs. That one tipped out of play by Stevenson, and it will be Albright to inbound the basketball once again. A couple seconds tipped off the clock, but nothing drained off the shot clock, so they're probably going to have to adjust that. My guess is put it down to 29. And they work to do that. And they'll leave the shot clock at 30. Actually, now it does dwindle down as they get it into O'Hare. And that one's stolen away. Stevenson gets it back. Now DeLuzio on the other end gets fouled by Deja Terrell. Terrell has stayed clean from fouls before that. Now she picks up her 4th, as she had 3 previously. And that's something to keep in mind here over the final 31.8. This will send DeLuzio to the line to shoot 2. She makes the first. It's her first trip to the free throw line today, and Stevenson calls a timeout and wants to talk it over with 31.8 to go. We'll step aside and we'll keep it here with 31.8 seconds to go. A 6-point lead for Albright, though, but not an ideal sequence with the steal and the turnover. And then DeLuzio makes the first free throw attempt, and then a timeout called by Stevenson. She has one more upcoming. She's shooting 65% from the free throw line coming into today's action. Don't forget, folks, coming up in a little bit here on the Albright Sports Network, our second game of today's twin bill, the men's basketball contest between these two schools. Stevenson and Albright will battle in MAC men's basketball action coming up at 3 p.m. So we appreciate you tuning in for the first game. Hope you can stick around for the second contest as well. Now out of the timeout, DeLuzio for the second free throw attempt. No good. A rebound hauled in by Maggie O'Hare, and she gets fouled by Coleman. It's the second personal foul on Coleman. Albright takes a timeout after the foul call. That foul is on Coleman, I believe, and it should be her second. And that is what has been officially changed on the scoreboard here. So that is going to be the 4th foul on Stevenson. Lions call that timeout. They want to talk it over. Also advances the basketball. 30.1 left, so the shot clock remains on, as there's that 1/10 of a second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Ralph to inbound the basketball for Albright. They got to get it in. They do to Boggs, who loses it out of bounds. And I don't think either official had a good look at this. It may have gone off the fingertips of Boggs. Or did Coleman get a tip on it? She did not. Turnover Albright. Back-to-back turnovers by the Lions here in the final minute. And Stevenson will call a timeout to advance the basketball. Both of these coaches keeping those timeouts in their back pockets just for this situation. And they take a timeout, and we'll take it with them. We'll step aside here real quick. 28.3 to go in this one. Albright up 72 to 66. We'll be right back after this on the Albright Sports Network. Back here on the Albright Sports Network, 28.3 to go. Albright 72, Stevenson 66, 28.3 to go. Out of the Mustangs timeout, it will be Stevenson basketball. Hall with it, Dayton on defense of her. They whip it to Coleman. Coleman works around and misses the shot. DeLuzio gets the rebound, baseline jumper, that's no good. And it goes to Ralph, and she calls a timeout. And that might just do it. Stevenson's plan of getting it into the half court and just giving it to Coleman worked quite a bit there down the stretch, but that time she can't get the jumper to go. The second chance by DeLuzio also doesn't fall, and Albright gets the big rebound there to potentially seal this game. Abby Gaffney will come back into the ball game for the Lions here. Maybe get an offensive lift for them. And we'll see if Stevenson fouls them to try to extend this game, or if they'll let the Lions dribble out the final few seconds of this contest. Gaffney's in for Dayton on Albright's end. And Gaffney will inbound the basketball. O'Hare has it. Trying to get it past midcourt. She does. Terrell has it. And a foul. Deja Terrell will go and get fouled there on that far side in front of the scorer's table. And that's the fifth on Stevenson. So Albright is now in the bonus. Dayton comes in for Gaffney. And Terrell will go to the free throw line to shoot two. Terrell is 2 for 2 from the line today. She makes the first. And the second is also good. And now Deja Terrell, as Stevenson calls a timeout. Terrell has a game-high 23 points. She had 3 and now has 20 points in the second half to help lift Albright out of a 1-point halftime deficit, and now has a 74 to 66 lead. They've been on a 5-1 run, have the Lions, in the last minute 12, and they have played very strong here in this second half and have put themselves in position to win this ball game. Just 6.3 to go. Stevenson just burned their final timeout to advance the basketball and see if they can get off maybe a 3 here. You got to think is the play that's being drawn up there by Coach Boswell and company in that huddle to try to get a quick 3, make it a 5-point ball game, get a quick foul, and hope that you can get some misses by Albright on the other end. Albright, though, has shot well from the free throw line, 65% as a team today from the foul line. Mustangs to inbound the ball out of the timeout. They They get it into Chris. Chris spots up, top of the key three. She was open. It doesn't go, though. Rebound up for grabs. Falls out of play off of Dayton. And just .3 remaining on the clock. Stevenson will inbound the basketball. So that will do it for this one. Quick substitution, though, before that. Gaffney comes in for Deja Terrell. So Terrell's day is done with .3 to go. Stevenson looking to inbound the ball. It's tipped by O'Hare, and that'll do it. And Albright, the 18th ranked team in the country, survives a brief upset scare, down by 1 at the half, to earn a 74-66 win over Stevenson here today in their first contest of 2020, as the Lions bring their winning ways into the new year and improve to 13-0 overall and 4-0 in conference play. Stevenson drops to 3-8 overall, 0-4 in MAC Commonwealth action with today's loss. Albright led by Deja Terrell, who finished with a game-high 23 points. Terrell did not play the second quarter and finishes with a game-high total. She has 20 points in the second half, a big reason why the Lions surged in the final 20 minutes of play. And Amina Rauf has 22 points as well, a tremendous performance by her, including a 6 for 12 mark from beyond the arc. Hannah Chris with 14 points, and Olivia Coleman finished with 14 points as well to lead the Mustangs here today. So the 18th ranked team in the country remains undefeated as they earn their first victory of 2020. They'll hit the road for their next contest, a visit to Lycoming, coming up on January 8th at 6 p.m. The next time they're home at the Bowman Center is on January 15th against Widener at 8 p.m. live right here on the Albright Sports Network. So that'll do it for our first game of today's doubleheader, as the Albright Lions women's basketball team earns a 74-66 win in comeback fashion over the Stevenson Mustangs. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you join me for the second game of our doubleheader against the men's basketball teams of Stevenson and Albright, coming up at approximately 3 p.m. That's all for now from the Bowman Center. We'll talk to you soon.